Hi, everyone. Hi, Priscilla. Hi, Wamaida. Thank you for joining me.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, everyone. I'm so happy. There's a lot of light, as you can see. Usually, when I'm recording this, when I'm having this event, it's normally a bit darker. So now my mood is
Yeah.
elevated. I feel like I'm in Africa now. Now I feel this is my natural, you know, not really. But yeah, I'm really happy to have this. This is going to be our sixth episode of Moments with Africa. And today we're going to be discussing relationships and finances. So, everything about relationships and also how finances affect our relationships, how we date, how we choose partners, how we relate with one another, how we get married, how we live marriage, and all that. And we have very young people here. And yeah, so this is going to be different because it's a bit more relaxed as a topic because I've done more political topics before. And this is why this is a bit special because we can all just relax and we're just basically focusing on our experiences, the people
Mhm.
around us, could be our sisters, our aunties, our mothers, the younger people around us. And this is why I think this is important. And also, even though we are young people, there are people who are younger than us, and this is why this is important because I think
Mm.
for myself, if I could go back in time, there are things that I wish that I knew when I was younger, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, or even 20 years ago. And I wish that we had conversations like this, or we had access to advice from older people who had been, who had a bit more experience with dating. So there's many reasons why I'm enjoying doing this today. And I hope we can learn from each other and other people can learn from us. And also we can also through the mistakes we make here that we can learn and be better as ourselves going forward. So now there's so many things to cover, but before we start covering everything, because we're going to cover everything, I would first like to
Okay.
I would
Let's
love
go.
first I will introduce my guests first. So we will first go with Wamaida Mwangi, my very, very old friend. She's like a sister to me since high school. So we've known each other forever. And so, and she's from Kenya, just like me, obviously. So I want her to introduce herself. And then next we will go to Priscilla from Ghana. And they will both tell us something about themselves, why they decided to come here and have this conversation with us, what they hope to get, what they hope to share with us. And then let's just start discussing relationships and finances. So, Wamaida, karibu sana.
Asante sana. Hi, everyone. Hi, Priscilla. Hi, Mary. Thank you for
Hi.
having me on here. I'm really happy. As Mary said, we've known each other since high school. I was a year behind her, but we've always been close. Like it didn't make a difference, and we've remained friends. I'm based in Nairobi, Kenya. I'm the founder of Beauty for Ashes Kenya. It's a new foundation that is focused on underprivileged women. So I ran
Mm.
a foundation called Angel Center for Abandoned Children for 12 years. And this closed in 2023. The government changed the law and they want to deinstitutionalize children that are in children's homes and try and get them into homes through adoption. Um, and then so the same year, my mom fell really sick and I had to move back. We live in the country, so I had to move back. And it's just probably 20 minutes from Nairobi, but the whole scenario is different. It's not Nairobi, it's not urban anymore, it's just the country. Mary, you've been home. So I moved back home and just to come and take care of my mom. Unfortunately, she passed. May she rest in peace.
Wow.
However, I also had to move my church. So I moved to a church here in Limuru. And when I came here, when you get into the church community, you meet a lot of people. You meet a lot of people. And since it's the country, there's all classes of people. And I'm in a ministry called the Ruby's Ministry. This is for the single moms. And in my group, we usually have meetups and we usually just have, meetups where we fellowship with with our children and everything. And I just noticed there are some women in this group, and they don't really ask us to raise a lot of money. It's very little money, but you see, they can't even raise, like 500 shillings in Kenya, and you'd find that one of the women got pregnant in primary school, in high school. And, when you sit down and speak to them, there's actually no hope. So they come to church like everyone does, looking for a miracle, literally something to fall from heaven, And you can see that, like I spoke with one of the ladies and she's like, I've always wanted to do beauty. Like I love doing hair, I love doing nails, such things, but she's never had the opportunity to do that. And these are kind of people who are kicked out of home for getting pregnant. So I sat down and I'm like, oh God, what am I doing here? Why am I really here? And I think that's where Beauty for Ashes, the dream came from. I was lucky enough, I left university twice for different reasons that I was unable to graduate twice. Lucky for me, I came from a family that I was able to start the foundation even without completing university. I had the support. And I sat down and I was like, I can't just take that for granted. It could have been me, so I asked God, first, I repent for taking advantage of two opportunities to finish university and graduate. And let me do something about my ashes, because once the center closed, as much as I have experience and, we got funding from international companies, I have audited reports that I managed huge accounts. Even with that experience, you cannot even get a job as a receptionist or a cleaner in Kenya. They look for degrees, they look for certificates. And I was like, wow, that now is when I realize, what my actions really caused. But again, I do have the know-how of starting an organization. And so this time I was like, I want to have an organization where I can give someone a chance. I can be that miracle. And it's not with a savior mentality. It's coming from a place where I cannot even work as a house cleaner. I can't even get a job as a house cleaner in a hotel because I don't have a certificate or a diploma. So, it's ridiculous. You have all these accolades. I got awards. I got all these things. It does not matter. So,
it's colonialism. If you need certification
exactly
to exist.
Yes. It's a system, and to enter that system, you have to. And I've accepted. For me, I don't think, maybe I'll go back to school one day. But I was like, you meet other people, and they didn't even have an opportunity to, just they didn't even have. There was no silver lining ever. So this is where Beauty for Ashes was born, and just the pain of not being able to get employment, no matter what background you have or no matter what experience you have, even recommendation letters, they don't matter. And just now to help someone else. And these ladies are still young, these ladies are 25, 26, or already she has 3 children, and that is already her life. Her life has been sealed. So, just to give an opportunity. So that's what we are doing. We want to get them back into tertiary college, just to maybe get a diploma or a certificate to be able to enable them to get into the workspace, maybe get into a salon. There's a lady who wants to be a plumber, believe it or not. And the ones that are really successful, they're the ones that are really smart, and we can see that they have the zeal to succeed. We'll be able to get them funding to have their own startups. Then they can become entrepreneurs and just be able to come from a place where they're always begging, because 2 of the ladies, they get food from church every week. So to come from that, to be able to get a small income and at least be dependent on yourself. And once you empower a woman, and especially in Kenya, once you give them that certificate, she can start as a shampoo girl and just work her way up. Yeah, so that is where the vision of Beauty for Ashes came from. And we are still in the early stages, so looking forward to the growth.
Thank you so much, Mom. Thank you so much. And I think, just for you to mention the women you're working with, the situations they're in, and the kind of experiences they've had, I was already thinking how that affects them even being in relationships, because everything, our ability to make have a source of income affects every single thing. How you raise children, how you are interacting with your own family members, especially from cultures where you have to help each other. It affects very many things, and also relationships. But yeah, thank you so much for that introduction.
You're most
Now,
welcome.
I always feel like I know you, but the more you talk, the more I'm like, okay, it's this part I didn't know. But yeah, so I feel that I know you better, even after so many
I'm
decades.
glad.
But yeah, next, let's have
I'm
Priscilla.
glad. I know. I'm glad.
Thank you. So let's have Priscilla introduce herself, and then we can start. Priscilla, welcome.
Hey, hello, Memamwaju. That is the Akan language for good afternoon or good evening. Yes, because it's afternoon
How
here.
do we respond?
Yeah. Meje also.
Meje also.
Exactly.
Mejo.
Yes. My name is Priscilla Sawa Kubi Ampim Braketu. I'm a Ghanaian and a former student of the University of Cape Coast. I have a degree in Bachelor of Arts of Anthropology and Economics, plus English. And
Wow.
I want to introduce myself as a divine feminine. Why would I say divine? Growing up, I witnessed a lot of issues happening with women. I saw it that women are always downgraded. We're seen as if, oh, she's a woman. Especially in Ghana, majority of the tribes, if you're a woman, you tend to go to the kitchen, and the man goes to school to go study. So I started asking questions. Why do I have to go to the kitchen? Why don't I have to go to school? And one of my aunties told me to shut up. I'm a kid. I'm not supposed to ask all those questions. And one thing I noticed about me was, if I have a question in mind and I ask you and you shut me up, that means there's something in there. I want to find out what that is. So I spoke to my mom, and my mom told me I'm too young to understand certain things. So when I grow up, she's going to explain things to me. And what I told her was, I'm marking this down. You told me you're going to explain it to me. So when the time is right, I will ask you. So that's one thing my parents love about me. I'm so curious. I always want to find out things. If you tell me not to go there, why are you telling me not to go there? What is there? I want to find out. What if that thing can be of good to me and I can use to help other people? But you're telling me not to go there. Why? So the why questions. Going to the university, I studied anthropology, and anthropology is the study of human beings and the society, how people react to certain situations, how people react to certain doctrines and all that. So I asked myself that. I told myself that this is the perfect course for me because of what I want to do, the things I want to find out. So at least it's going to open some portals for me to learn. And it did a whole lot. Because during my classes, we had a topic about African women, marriage in Africa. And with the knowledge my lecturer imparted, I tend to ask her questions. Why do we do this? Why do we do that? In the class that I'm not supposed to be asking too many questions, I said, no, I want to find out. I'm curious. I want to know. Because I'm a woman and I've seen a lot of people go through pain. I've seen a lot of people go through ridicule. I don't want to be in that situation. So what is actually causing that ridicule? What is actually causing those problems? I want to find out. Then I would help other people. Fast forward in 2020 during COVID, the lockdown, I started asking myself questions again. There's COVID, there's lockdown, nobody's going to work, we are home. So now you are telling women to stay at home and do nothing, just be home, take care of the home, do this, because that is where we are being told to be. But now you, the man, are also home with us. You're not going to work, you're not doing anything. So with the knowledge I understand, that means you become a little clammed down. You can't work, can't do nothing, because that's the only thing you are used to. But I'm at home, I'm cooking, I'm cleaning, I'm doing this, I'm taking care of the kids, I'm multitasking and all that, but you are not able to do anything. So what's the essence of you being here at the moment? You should go to work. Then they clicked me and told me that there is something about women I need to find out. Because in our culture, if a man is getting married, what the mother-in-law will tell the woman is, I'm giving my son to you to take care of. Why would you give your son to me to take care of? Why? What is it about me? You are the same people that told me that I'm not fit to go out there to work. I'm not fit to go to school and all that. How come I should take care of your son? He has gone to school. He knows all the things. So he should take care of me. But why should I take care of him? Then when you go to the religious sector, they say that a woman, if a man, you are not able to succeed in life, the blame is being put on the woman. So the woman is being called a witch. Why? I'm not supposed to do all those things that men are supposed to do. Okay, so why are you blaming me? You should blame him then that means the adage that goes behind every successful man, there is a woman. Meaning women are very powerful. We possess powerful traits that the men don't even have. Or even if they do, ours surpasses that. Because if I'm to take care of the man, behind every successful man, there is a woman. And if you educate a man, you educate just one person. But when you educate a woman, you educate an entire generation. Then that means I'm powerful. I am a powerful being. I'm not supposed to be limited. I need to sit down, accept myself as a woman, delve into my divinity, and then create, because we are creators. We are the portals to life. We are creators. So I want to delve into that power. I want to dive into that power, and we'll create things to help other people. So with all these things happening with me, asking questions, finding it all, and then I came up with something. Divine infinity. Why divine infinity? When it comes to the divine infinity, we have two sides, the masculine energy and then the feminine energy. Every human being has the same thing. The men have it, women have it. Both of us, we have all the energies embedded in us. But the thing is, we need to recognize those power, tap into it, and then balance ourselves. The very moment we do that, there's going to be less chaos, all this drama in relationships, family, everywhere. All those drama is going to go down, because we have both gotten to know that each person, the male gender has both energies. The female gender also has both energies. But right now we are tapping into that power, and we are balancing ourselves, so that with my masculine energy, I can do something with it to create. With my feminine energy, I can also use that thing to create. So with that, there is peace, there's clarity between men and women in our relationships, in our marriages, in our workplace, in our home, in our businesses. So that is all.
Wow, thank you so much. That is amazing. And you know what? Thank you for giving a broad explanation about the divinity part. Because when we were talking before this, I was like, okay, yeah, I understand the word, but what is? I knew there was something more. There was something more about why you wanted to have this as your subtopic, as your title. Sorry. And I think I now get it, and I think other people will also get it. And I love that. We can be able to just embrace who we are. And the way you said that, you know what, this is something that everyone possesses, whether you're male or female, but it's about creating a balance. This is true. This is the reality with everything. You need a balance with everything. And now this drives me to my first question. So, and I want both of you to answer. And I'll start with Omaida. Now, when you hear when you hear the word 50-50, what comes to your mind, and what is the role of money and finances in your relationship? And I want you to give us a very clear view of what you think about this, and what you as a woman think you should contribute, what a man should contribute, and how important is it? What is 50-50 to you? Does it scare you, Omaida?
It doesn't scare me to a place where the only thing about 50-50 that scares me is a man coming into a relationship expecting that. 50-50, like as a woman who contributes, who works, and you share a home, giving, paying the part of the rent or paying electricity should be something that you want to give. Women are givers. As she said, we are incubators, so it should be something that you want to do, and you don't feel pressed to do it. But then when you get into a relationship and the guy is like, oh, by the way, I'll be paying half the rent, you'll pay the other half, I'll be paying the water, you'll pay the electricity, that already shows me that he's not a leader. Because as women, whether you make more money or less money than the man, I feel if you're going to contribute, you shouldn't. But if you are going to contribute, it should be something you are led to, not something you must do. That's what I feel about it coming into a relationship. I don't know if it makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. But we're going to speak more about this to understand where this stems from, because every society is different. I'm in Finland and I've been here since I was 22. Obviously, I go back and forth. I go home as Mamaida knows, and I know that it's very different here. We are in the same world, but the way things are done are very different. The cultures are very different. In Finland, I don't even need to ask, and no one needs to ask me, because I already know that is 50-50. But then the conditions around us will allow for a man to say, hey, I expect you to do something. Because when you check the statistics, women are getting opportunities. We are not yet there yet, where there's gender parity and everything. But compared to many countries around the world, we are very good. But then when you bring in the race factor, it's different, because then I'm not a white woman. So I will never have the same opportunities as white women. But generally speaking, the men and women here in Finland, they do get, you all go to school. A man goes to school and a woman goes to school. You get access to job opportunities as a man and as a woman. So it's easier for them to split the bills. Much, much easier. But then when I go to Nairobi, it's a whole totally different thing. But I want to hear from Priscilla. What does 50-50 mean to you? What is the role of money? What do finances do in a relationship? And what roles do you have with it?
Okay, so with me, with 50-50, I don't have a problem as well with 50-50. I don't have a problem. But the thing is, if you're claiming we should do 50-50, I'm not saying anything's going to happen, but what if something happens later and you, the man, can't afford, and I'm supposed to afford? Or it gets to a point that I can't afford, but you have to afford everything. How is it going to be like? Probably I would understand, okay, fine, things happen. So now I'm going to take all the bills, I'm going to take till you get on your feet again. But when it comes to you, the man, are you going to do the same thing? So even with 50-50, there are conditions. There are conditions. So we need to consider that. And also when it comes to finances, I think that every woman should have something doing. You need to have something doing. Why do I say that? Because if you don't have something doing, the man is coming out of you. I'm not getting anything out of you. But little do they know that you being at home, you are doing multitasking. You are doing everything in the home. When he comes home, you have to make him feel comfortable. When you go to the bedroom, you have to make yourself yourself available. But what you are doing is way much more than what he's doing, but they do not have the understanding. Exactly. So with me, if it's going to be 50-50, we need to think about the other side of it too as well. I don't have a problem with it. But that you see, with everything, there are two sides. So we need to consider the other side of it as well. If it's going to be okay by you, we go with it. If it's not, then let's reconsider. And then have it in mind that we are partners. We are doing this together. And we are doing it together for our generations to benefit. So
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And now I'm thinking, when you consider the things that we already socialized to do as women, right when we were young girls, you already knew that, you know what, you cannot be sitting in the house when it's dirty, when there's dishes in the kitchen. You and I, mom, we know this when we were young, even at your house as young girls, your mom will give us some chores to do, even though there was someone who is employed to do the chores. Mom's mom will tell us, by the way, you need to do the dishes, and you need to be about this and this and this. So there's still
get up and clean those dishes.
So we grow up already accustomed to taking care of things around us, making sure the environment is clean, people have eaten and all these things. So I do think that when you bring in the money factor, that's probably why it may be difficult for some women to be like, wait a minute, okay, fine, but how are you going to help me do this? And now I'm going to give an example of myself. I've been in a relationship where I'm already accustomed to doing the cleaning and all these things, and now I look at the house, it's a really huge house, and I'm thinking, okay, who is going to clean this? And I'm thinking, I remember thinking in my head, we are not socialized to see men cleaning the floors and doing all this, going up and down the stairs with, the vacuum cleaners and everything. And I do know that myself, I've had to think twice. Okay, how do I want us to split this? This is real life. Because I didn't grow up seeing my dad. Of course, my dad can cook. I know he can do basically everything, but it's not something you're accustomed to seeing. You know what I mean? So for me now to have to be in a relationship, and I'm thinking about the house tasks, and I'm thinking about all these things, I remember having to, without being asked, having to say, you know what, this is easier for me to do, let me do it. I have done that. And then I think to myself, oh my God, did I clean all this? I cleaned the basement, I cleaned this, I went upstairs and down. And then I'd be like, wait a minute, I cleaned 2 toilets and this guy sitting there. But then I think again, you know what? He's buying this and this for us, he's doing this. And then I'm like, okay, he didn't even tell me. He's willing to do everything. But I'm the one who's like, oh no, you don't have to do that. I can do it better. I can do it faster. I can clean better. Or I'm behind them like, okay, that's not how you clean it. So it's kind of the way we are socialized as children kind of puts us in a situation where we get confused as well. And we never talk about this confusion because you don't want to let go of what you've been trained to allow and to do. And this is also something I've seen with parenting. When I came to Finland, I started seeing men, with the baby proms in the streets. Like a man could be with a child the whole day. I had never seen that in Kenya. And I'm not lying. Like a man being at home with a child the entire day, doing all these things, going to the shops, to the malls, to the prom. I have never seen that. And I know a lot of men have a father, have a brother, I have uncles, have everything. So it's I think we need to discuss what is preventing us from doing that. Is it simply because we know that, one, for example, in Kenya, the men have more access to better finances and better jobs? Is that why we expect for them to give a greater share of money? Or is it because we also don't want them to do certain things? And whom do we think is going to lose more when we don't want to let go of what we've been trained? So I want to know from you too, when you're getting into a relationship, how soon should finances and money be discussed? Is this something that you have to wait, like 5 months or to know the person is serious? Or how important is it for you for the man to know that, okay, you know what, from inception, this is how I am, this is what I believe in, and this is what I expect? Is there a right time, Wamaida, to discuss these things?
Discussing finances, I think divulging your private finances should be when the relationship is like official. And when I say official, I don't mean engaged. I mean married. No, seriously, because we've seen with our friends, a lot of people have gotten engaged and break up, and then they already got into businesses together, they already combined their finances, and now it becomes hell. And you built this business, and this guy is like, I'm the one that put in the capital for it, so half of the business is mine, or all of it is mine. We've seen the ugliness. I believe finances should be, if you guys decide you'll get married, unless you're those people that just want to have the long-term partnership. I don't know how that goes, because we don't have that here, although we have it. We call them come we stay, but it's very tricky. It's very tricky, and it needs to be something that you personally, I don't think there should be a timeline. It should be when you feel comfortable, because there are some men and there are some women that get into relationships to get up. So you'll find a man knows that you're successful. He's done his homework, so he knows that, and he's researched, and he knows that, Mary or Priscilla, this is what they are looking for in a man, because we tend to say those things within the first 2 dates. Oh yeah, I want a guy who does, even my ex, he used to do. So these people are professional FBI agents. So they are just taking the notes, and they're like, okay, so this is how I should act. And because he knows you're the MD of a certain company, that's how he's going to play you. And you get married because that's what you're looking for. You're looking for a ring, you're looking for a title. And he gives you the title, but you're going to pay for it. So I don't know, it just comes with discernment, and it just comes down to discernment and how you feel about that person. I'll give you an example. I dated this guy, and he used to live in the States. So it was a long distance relationship. And usually they come over summer. And he came down one summer, and the first thing he was like, oh, you should accommodate me in your house. And I'm like, no. He was like, oh, since we're in a long distance, oh, I should stay in your house. I was like, absolutely not. And then, so he comes down and he gets an Airbnb, and he stays there. And then within 2-3 weeks, this guy was like, yo, I think we are at a point where this relationship is serious enough. We need to start discussing finances. You need to give me your finances. And I was like, wait, this is too fast. It's too fast. It's not going to happen. So again, it just comes down, I think, to your own judgment. For me, I say hold on. Don't rush into combining finances until you feel it's a place that you're safe.
I love that, Mamaida. My God, I should call you Professor Mamaida now, honestly. Oh, yeah. Hey, how come you don't give me this advice when I need it?
Because us guys that we only talk about nonsense. We don't talk about serious things.
When I need it. But you know what? Actually, you do give me very good advice, and you warn me. And when things go wrong, you're like, okay.
I told you. Well, I don't say I told you, but
like,
yeah, some
me,
things you can see them a mile away, know. So.
And then in the beginning, I'm like, no, that's not how it is. But you are sure, no. When you see this sign and this sign, something's, and I'm like, no, but I know it is. And you're just like, okay. Totally actor.
In fact, when you went silent for about 3 weeks, I knew it.
Okay, let's not tell everyone everything.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Sorry. Let's get
You even had a number 3 weeks for Maida. Anyway, Priscilla, please answer the same question. Please let us know at what point of what do we call this phase where you're not yet dating? There has to be a name. There's a name for it, but you're not dating. Yeah, talking
Talking
stage.
stage.
So,
Yeah.
when do you think is the right time to first talk about finances and what you expect in the future? And also, when is the right time to, let's say, invest? Like Omaida said, some people have invested in one another. We Kenyans, we are, especially we Kikuyu women, we are very resourceful. We are working, working, working. So sometimes you might be in a position you're like, hey, can we do business together? So we've already had that. That's not a good idea, right?
Hot mess.
I have not done it, but I have seen people do it. But what do you think, Priscilla? When do you combine your finances? When do you start working together? At what point?
Okay, so with me, from my understanding, talking about finances, you need to know your partner's perspective first, how he or she thinks, how he or she perceives things. Because with that, you'll be able to know, okay, if I want to go into something with this person, will that person be genuine with me? Will that person be truthful to me? Will that person be passionate about whatever we are doing? So I mostly what I say is study the mind of your partner. How does your partner think? Because the very moment you listen to whatever anybody is saying, you'll be able to deduce from whatever that person is hiding. No one can ever hide their attitude. It's just that we always ignore the red flags because, oh, I found this guy, he's handsome, he's this, he's that. So whatever he says is like, oh, I'm in love, I like him, this, that. So when the red flags are being shown, you don't see it. Then you involve yourself in something, and then at the end of the day, poof, you're just blown away. So with me, I always say, listen to whatever the person is saying, understand the person's mindset, the person's perspective, because with that alone, you know exactly if the person is speaking on the same dimension with you. Is the person being mediocre? Is the person thinking higher? Is the person thinking togetherness with you? Is the person thinking that if we go into this together, it is both of us in there, we are doing this, we are going somewhere with that? If you do not find that thing, I would advise don't involve yourself. Also, I will also advise the women, know yourself or find yourself before someone else finds you. Because if you don't find yourself, if you don't stand on your feet, the man that is coming, one, won't respect you. He's going to take advantage of you. Some of them are so cunning and so deceptive that if they come to you and they're going to act as if, oh, I like you. Yeah, you're right with that. Yes, we should do this. We should do that. You involve yourself in that. At the end of it, it just pushes you away, drops you off. He gets me. So you need to find yourself. When you find yourself, the very moment you find yourself, you tap into that power. And that power, as my sister said, it gives you that discernment. So you're able to discern, is this person genuine? Whatever this person is saying, can I listen to it? Can I adapt it into my life? If you don't do that, trust me, it ain't going to work. And it works for both parties, both male and female. Yes.
Amazing discernment. So yeah, there's no specific time to do something. You just need to first know yourself, and then you need to understand the other person, and that takes time. So whenever it feels right, then you know when to go in and discuss these things, or even invest together. And you know what? I think the investment part, and I'm not trying to be ageist or generalized with this, but I think when I compare myself to when I was younger to now, when I was much, much younger in my early 20s, I didn't think about, oh, I want to settle down, or I want a man who's like this with money, and we're going to do business together. But now, fast forward to now, my early 40s, I do think about these things. I think about, okay, money. How does this man manage finances? What does this man expect of me? Does this man understand that, you know what, I've gotten to this point by myself? No one lifted me, no man lifted me up. Does he understand that, and does he understand that clearly? That I have struggled across the seas to be here, and that there's a certain kind of level, and I'm not just talking about finances, that I require some sort of support that acknowledges all this. So, but then also now I think about, okay, if I were to have a business with this man, would he be able to support me? So I think about those things now. I didn't think about them. I didn't think about them back then. And I want to go to my next question. And this is something that was very quickly mentioned: red flags. What are the red flags as it pertains to relationship and finances? What can you look back and say, you know what? That was a huge red flag, just smacking me in the face, and I just refused to see it. Or something you've seen with other people. It was right there, like 20 flags. Well, Maida Mangi, you cannot use me as an example, obviously, because I am your sister. You see, she tried to throw me under the bus.
Listen, my lips are sealed.
But
We've all gone through that.
Yeah, but what are the red flags you see? Because, and let me explain why I'm asking this. I think that, and this is something that I see a lot, especially on the home side, because on this side, like, no one is taking care of you, no one is doing all that. Culture is different. Take care of yourself. I do this, you do this, we meet in the middle. But something that I see back home, I do see the expectation is already there that a man has to provide. That's number one, financially. So it doesn't matter whether it's a 25-year-old or a 35 years old, year old. And I'm not trying to generalize. I'm just saying what I have observed. The man is expected to support financially. However, the red flags that I have seen is that they tend to take advantage, or they tend to believe that, you know what, because I'm doing A, B, C, D financially for us or for you as my lady, then I'm not required to do this and this and this. And I'll give an example. A man thinks because he's given you a gift, and now I'm using myself an example, where a man thinks that because he has given you a gift, you didn't ask for it. I didn't ask for it. But because he's given you a gift and it's, something, very, it has to do with finances. He's done something good. So he thinks that, okay, because I've done this and this, I don't have to call you back when I tell you I'm going to call you. I don't have to, I tell you, okay, I'm organizing a trip. We're going to do this. He doesn't even think that he has to call me and tell me that, you know what, we've canceled the trip. So to me, I just find like it's very confusing to me, because if you care so much about me to the point where you're getting me gifts or you're supporting me without me even having to ask you, why would you think that you're now exempt from doing basic things? Because those are the things that matter to me. How we communicate, how often we communicate, whether you tell me things when you're supposed to tell me. It's not the money, and it's not the gifts. The gifts are not going to substitute that. But I find that, and this is something I've observed both in my own life and I've seen back home, where a man thinks that he doesn't have to do basic, like generally, it's just being polite. It's just showing me that you care for me as a human being. They don't think they have to do that because they're buying gifts. So that's my red flag. But I want to hear from all of you. And we start with Omaida again. Tell me the red flags, and then Priscilla, you can go in next and tell us your red flags.
There was a post by, these funny Kenyan guys, and it was in Sheng, so I'll just try and make it in English. It wouldn't be as funny, but basically what they were insinuating is that with dudes, there is a budget of trapping a woman. So yes, so they have this budget. So when they meet you, again, men do their research. This is something we think they don't. By the time a man is approaching you, he has already known what you do, who your friends are, and they're not stupid as we think. Men are not simple. So they have this budget, and you'll find that African culture, I wouldn't even just say Kenyan, African culture, and even Kenya is not even as flashy as Nigerian or Ghanaian or South African, we are generally flashy people. So there are people who will fake it until they make it. And for me, red flags is someone that's really flashy. I had someone who like name drops a lot. You're a grown man, 40-something-year-old, talking about, in fact, I know Ruto's spokesperson, you're just name dropping all these things. And then, just going back to that post, it was a funny post, but I sat down and I thought, a lot of girls have fallen into that trap. They dated the guy who had the Benz in the club, who was buying the 5 bottles in the club. And we used to think that having a flashy car, having nice clothes in the club, buying all the bottles in the club, that was a sign of wealth. Eh? Is stupidity, because those girls right now, they come back, they're like, you get home first, this one is a lazy man, he lives in a bed sitter, he lives in and the rare cases that, yes, he does live in a mansion, he does have that money, why is he not at home? He's still in the club, still hunting. Men are hunters. So you have to also look, you also have, as Priscilla said, you have to know yourself, because the reason men trap a lot of women is because we've grown up with Cinderella syndrome. We are waiting for the flashiest man to fall in love and sweep us off our feet with the BMW and the what, so that it's a come up, So, and we have it as a default setting because, as you said, the culture, the man is supposed to provide. So you even find it with women, even the women who fall for this trap are even women who are, corporate women. It's not that they don't have money, but that Cinderella syndrome is what is finishing women. So as Priscilla said, know who you are first. I had that problem. So, you have to know, you have to fast, and you have to do the healing work of identifying your red flags before you start looking at other people's red flags. What are your red flags? What is it that you have avoiding? What is it that you think that someone has to come and feel to make you feel whole? Even if that man comes with the one that suits all your dreams, if you've not done the work, if you've not done your inner work, if you've not addressed your red flags, it will always be the other person. You have to sit back and go like, okay, you know what? Maybe I'm the common denominator. So for red flags, yes, it's, for me, it's, I used to be attracted to flashy, and there's all this saying we've always been told, all that glitters is not gold. All that glitters is not gold. All that glitter. But do we listen? We don't listen. So we go for the flashiest. Let me tell you, I keep saying myself because I know myself. Hey, you go for the flashiest thing in the club, and then you see also where you're looking. You're looking in the club.
Location.
There are men who are married. Yes, location. There are men who are married and are still in the club. They never, yes, they got the wife, they put her, they are rich, yes, she's in her Benz, she's in her mansion, but where is he? So also the location of where you find the person. And also, as Priscilla said, what is he about? What does he talk about? No, find out who they are. You will find all those red flags. So for me, I just had to slow down and go like, okay, first, before I start looking, even the Bible says, do not remove the speck in your friend's eye and you have a whole tree in your eye. So you start now by removing the tree in your eye, so that now you can actually see clearly. So yeah, that's my take on red flags.
Thank you. So this is so much fun, and I think it's so much fun because everything you're saying, I can relate, and because we've grown up together, we've been in those clubs together, in our 20s, in our 30s. So we know all the culprits, and we know all the red flags, and still, I'm gonna be in a position where I find myself in a situation. I'm like, okay, how would you not know that is a huge red flag? So I love that this is so real.
When you find that you keep following this loop, there is a mindset about yourself you're not changing. It's you are the problem now.
Taking full responsibility. Thank you so much, Omaida. Priscilla, what are your red flags? And we want real examples. I love this. Omaida.
Okay. So with my red flags, I'm going to use my story first. I was dating this guy, and from this conversation, okay, so you're working. When we get married, I want you to be at home. You have to stop working. I'm going to give you everything you want. And I was like, hold on. What did you say? When we get married, you want me to stay at home. You don't want me to go to work. Why? Because when you go out there, all the men, all those boys, and I said, they were there before you came, but I chose you. So you need to respect that. I chose you. So you need to respect that. It doesn't have to be with me not being at home. And then I realized that the reason why he was doing that was because when I'm an independent woman. One thing my mom trained me with, never depend on any man. Make sure you find something for yourself. If you can't afford it, don't rush. Take your time so you are able to afford it. If the person comes in and willingly gives it to you, that's fine. So I've always had that notion with me. So I don't depend on people when I can't do that. So I don't ask him for anything. If I want something, I buy myself. And one thing our men, our Ghanaian men are used to is the fact that when they're with you need to ask, oh, I want to go to the salon. I want to buy this. Let's go for shopping. Let's go do that. I'm thinking about something different. Give me the money. Let me go and invest it. I want to invest that money so I can get more returns because I need more money. I need more money. You want us to go to the club, you go spend like 20,000, 50,000, blow the money just like that. We can invest it into something. Let's invest. Then the outcome, we can use it to spend. So that's my ideology that I'm always working. And I realized that it was a problem for him because he realized he wanted to capture me so that whatever you say is what I will do. I'll just be at home. That thing makes women so vulnerable. You are not working. So he's in charge of your life. He's in charge of everything. He's paying for the bills. He's giving food. He's taking care of your hair, your shoes, your bags. He can get to a point he'll tell you, I don't have money. I can't do this anymore. What are you going to do? It can even get to a point that some men can ignore their children. And the woman has to force the man, force and force before he brings something out. What if the woman you're not working? How would you be able to take care of the kids? How would you take care of the house? So when he said that, I said, okay, I've heard you. I went straight to my dad and told my dad, Daddy, this is what my boyfriend said. And the first thing my dad was, tell him you're no longer interested in this relationship. Run. I said, run? He said, yes. If you don't run, you're going to be a slave. So a man that is going to tell me that when I marry you, stay in the house, no, 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 no. A man that is not going to support you. So we both have things running for us. Tomorrow I can cover you. The next time you can also cover me. And the home is filled with happiness and all those joy. You get it? But if you are telling me not to be myself, I don't have to be myself. I don't have to find anything about me. I don't have to bring any. What if I was created to come to this earth to fulfill a purpose to help other people? I'm going to disappoint those people. Those people are going through pain. They need my help. But because of me being under the man, I won't be able to do it. And a man that would always want to, oh, women are looking for marriage, so let me just act as if, no. That's why I stated earlier, you need to study the mind of a person. So with me, when I meet a man, this is what I do. I look at him and then I start asking myself questions. Who is this person? What is his agenda? What is he thinking? I have a brother who was a church, and there was this guy that he was like looking at him and he thinks we can be a pair. And I asked him, are you going to choose for me or I have to choose myself? Oh, because of the way you think, because of the way he thinks. I said, okay, fine, let me study him. He got closer to me and I acted as if I was foolish. I just wanted to see how he was going to react. And his words, his understanding, what I realized was if I gave him the chance, that's the end of me. because he has that ideology that I'm the man of the house. Whatever I say is what you're supposed to do. So if you are to do something that is even going to help him, you can't do it. You can't do it at all. And I've seen that in a lot of the religious sectors. I am the man. When I say something, that's it, it's final. But being together is a partnership. We are complementing each other. That's why we have the yin yang. You do yours, I do mine. We bring it together. We get something powerful out of it. It doesn't have to be just one person pushing. Because if you're saying that behind every successful man, there is a woman, that means I have my part to play. Let me delve into myself. Let me dive into myself. Find out that power, tap into it, and then use it to even help you at the end of it all. But if you're going to capture me, no. For that, that's a no. So the very moment I see that, I'm gone. We are done. Yes, we are done.
Thank you so much, Priscilla.
Can I add
Thank you.
something onto what she said?
Yes.
You know, my pastor mentioned something about finding out the family a person was raised in, and especially men. If a man came from a family where he saw his father providing for the mother, and the mother was just at home, you know, the one that brought everything, she cooked, she cleaned, trying to get that man to see you as an independent woman would be very difficult. If you find a man who was raised maybe by a single mother, you know, you are the one who is going to provide, because he knows women are capable. You know, it changed the way a person was raised, also influences who they are, the kind of person that they are and what they are expecting. And you know, it's very hard to change an adult into, okay, this is what you grew up knowing, you know. And if you find a woman who the father used to cook, you know, the dad used to make the meals, wake up, make break. Like I had an uncle, he would wake up and cook the breakfast. He's the one that made the lunch because he loved cooking. Cooking was his passion. And when my cousin got married, the number one reason they broke up with the husband was he was like, you know, she expects me to do some things. I can't do those things. You understand? So also knowing where a person, knowing the background of, you know, ask someone, you know, how is your family structure? You know, tell me about your family, your immediate family. You know, how was your parents' marriage? If this man grew up seeing the mother being beaten to submission, guess what? No matter how charming he is at the beginning, that's how he knows women get discipline. So these are some of the things we should also look at, or these are some of the conversations we should have at the beginning, so that you can also just kind of fine tune and see how someone was programmed growing up.
Whew, my goodness.
Okay, to add a little bit to what she also said, that's why I made mention. And one thing I've noticed about we is we don't want to work on ourselves. We literally don't want to work. We don't want to do that because that is hard work. If I tell you what I have been through to get to where I am today, it wasn't easy because I wanted to break certain cycles. I wanted to break certain things off. Life doesn't have to be complicated. Things doesn't have to be complicated if only we understand ourselves and we know ourselves. But you know, some people, when you realize certain things about them and you want to get to know them better, and you try to be like, let's try this approach, they are so close-minded. They feel that's like difficult for me to do. I can't do that. And I would put some of the blame also onto the religious sectors and the religious leaders, because they are not actually making people liberate themselves. They are not letting people know who they are. Because one thing I've noticed is religious leaders have so much influence on people more than their families. Because someone will be like, oh, before we go see my parents, I want us to go see my pastor. I want us to go see my imam before we go see my parents. So it's more kind of right now, they have taken that role. So they having that power, they also need to teach their people. Let them understand. Listen, both of you are coming from different backgrounds and you are coming together to do something. You should know that definitely you have your understanding. She also has her understanding. But sit down, analyze, talk to each other, get to know each other, understand where she's coming from. You also understand him from where he's coming from. With what she said with the background of people, there was this couple that I spoke to the other time, and what the man said was they wanted to divorce. Why? Because of toothpaste. With a toothpaste, I asked the woman, she said, for us, you can press the middle of the toothpaste and then you just get it and then you brush your teeth. But with him, they press it from the lower length, from the end of it, so that the paste does not get started or get stuck in there. So this is what she's not doing. So I'm fed up. I want to divorce. I said, let me ask you a question. Did you get to know her very well before both of you took this decision? Bear in mind, your mom and dad, how they do their things is different from what her parents also do. Both of you are not from the same background. You come from different perspectives. The best thing you have to do is ask her, why do you do this? She has a reason for that. She also asks you, why do you also do this? Trust me, when you guys sit down and humble yourselves, talk to yourself, give yourself that respect, submit to each other. Submission is not for one person, it's for both parties. Respect is not for one person, it's for both parties. Both of you have to project that to each other, and it's energy. The very moment you project that energy towards each other, there is no friction. Everything goes smoothly. Yeah, so that's what I can add to what she has to say.
Can I ask about submission? Because this was going to be the next question, and you just mentioned it. I want us to discuss this specific terms: leadership and submission, submitting. Because many times, especially those of us who've grown up in a religious background, religious home, we understand that a woman is supposed to submit to a man. But now, as I'm growing older, I'm like, okay, what does this mean? Because now when I hear it, I'm like, huh. Because the way women have translated it in my African community is not in a way that I want to live. And it just shows up when, for example, we're discussing that a man is coming home very late at night after drinking, and they're drinking maybe 3 times a week, but you're the woman, you're not drinking. Or when you drink, it's usually with him or not as frequently. So things like, when he comes home, I warm the food or I do this. And you know what? When he does something, you as a woman, these are things I've heard my own fellow African women saying, as a woman, you should forgive. And usually what you're supposed to be forgiven is not something that they would forgive if they were the ones in the place where they have to do the forgiving as men. So I want to understand from both of you, what do we mean by submit to a man? What is submission? And is it coming from a religious context, or is it coming from African cultures? Where does it come from? I really need to understand. If a young person were here and they wanted to understand, I want you to explain it in a way they would really understand. What is submission? Who is submitting? Where do we draw the boundaries? And also, what is leadership? Who is a leader? Is there something like an equality in marriage? What do we mean by these words? Leadership, equality, and submission. Let's start with you, Omaida.
With submission, what we have witnessed with the generation before us was fear. That was not submission. And it's what they got from their generation. A man will beat you up, you be quiet. So that's not submission. Every woman has submission in them. And it takes a certain man to bring it out. A man cannot force submission out of a woman. Everyone is like, oh, she's so loud. Even those girls are like, oh, she's so loud. So a lot of women, what they have is false humility. Just, they laugh. That's false humility, because that's what they are trained to do. so annoying. It's, it doesn't take, a loud woman in fact, you'll find that loud woman is the most submissive woman. Submission is something in a woman's spirit, and it has to be brought out by a man. And that is where leadership of a man, when you see this man is a leader, you find yourself automatically submitting. And he's not like, you see my wife, when I tell her to jump, she jumps. No, he's not that kind of man that will go and start, because he's a natural leader. That is also something that is naturally in a man. Just because a man has money, just because he comes from a good family, just because he's smart, does not make him a leader. A man is either a king or a clown. So if a man understands who he is and he's a king, you will find yourself, even without knowing, submitting. And submitting doesn't mean, you are on his feet, or you. If you think that is what he likes, you will find yourself doing it, because that man brings it out of you. You can't even stop yourself. That's my understanding of submission and leadership. Equality, again, when you have that man bringing out the submission, you'll find yourself doing things. He'll even tell you, don't do it. You're like, I'll do it. And it's not you're doing it out because you've been, so it's something that is innate in women, and also leadership is also innate in men. As she said in the beginning, she had said men have both feminine and masculine traits, and so do women. If you have a man that keeps you in your masculine side, he's always coming at 3 a.m., you don't know peace. You don't know peace. You're always angry, you're always sad. You cannot be in you. Now, submission comes when this man brings out your feminine completely, because he is in his masculine. When a man is in his feminine, let me tell you something, it's the most annoying thing ever. Because he doesn't even understand who he is. But when he's in his masculine, he'll bring it out. And it's not, and I'm not talking about toxic masculinity that a lot of Kenyans go with. That's not what I'm speaking of. So it's something that is in it. So even submission, it's not something your mother can teach you. Because most of our mothers, you guys know, they didn't understand submission. That was not submission, that was fear. Fear of what people will say, fear of being called a divorcee, fear of, just fear, so that's just my take on submission.
And do you think that there can be two leaders in the home? Do you think that a woman can be a leader and a man also a leader, but in different ways? Because, when we talk about things like femininity and masculinity, I'm like, okay, you know what? Yeah, but there are some people who relate differently. There are even people who have different sexual orientation as well. Now, we can't know how they experience life or what the expectations are, but I'm thinking about them as well, because I'm like, okay, how do they view this when we start talking about leadership and femininity? But you know what? We can't discuss about something we don't experience ourselves. But is it possible to have, for example, a man and a woman who, just an example, one is a CEO. So when you are a CEO, you normally have some certain kinds of characteristics and traits because you're a leader. This is something you do every single day. But then on the other hand, let's say you also have your wife who's also a CEO or a doctor. Let's say she's a doctor. This is a person who has leadership traits, very reliable and all these things. Can we say that leadership is can we really say that leadership is something for the man alone in this kind of relationship, in a heterosexual relationship? Or can we say that leadership can be for both of them? How do you understand that? Or do you think that one has to be the leader above the others? And is this a cultural belief, or is it a religious belief? What do you think, Omaida?
Leadership, as someone who was a leader, and it also depends, I'm not married, so I cannot speak for a marriage relationship, because a marriage relationship, you're living with that man. So it's a dynamic that I haven't experienced, so I wouldn't know. But dating someone who was a lead in whatever he was doing, there was a respect. There was a respect for opinions. There was a respect for different fields. Okay, I understand that this is, but then there was also a place where you sit down and you discuss and you be like, okay, you know what, I don't feel like this is. And also it depends on the kind of person. If you meet a man that can actually listen to you, that's a good thing. And if you find a woman that can also listen to you, that's a good thing. Because you see, like, both of you are fiercely independent women. You've gotten to where you are with absolutely no help. So speaking to a woman like you, a man has to have a lot of wisdom. A man cannot come and go like, oh, a woman is in fact, he won't finish that sentence. He'll be like, stop. So it also has to come with a lot of wisdom. So yes, you're the lead. Like I have a friend that is the CEO of a really big company, and you cannot tell. He's very humble, and it's not that he's a shy person or anything. He just is able to listen.
Your sound
he's
is off.
able to listen. So that's another very important thing, to have someone that is able to listen. I believe there can be two leaders, because one person cannot have the full 360 of the relationship, but you have to be able to give each other way. But then if we come back to the natural state of things, even as a woman CEO, there's a way you can see that this your leader is leading you astray. So you have to have wisdom to bring, not no, you don't know what you are saying. Think, you are a leader, you are a CEO, you're an MD, my friend. Think, use your words. We have words, women, we have words. So you'll be like, okay, I like your way of doing things. Yeah. And you make it seem like it's his idea. It's not that you're weak, but
no, I disagree. But you know what? I totally agree. I totally agree that. And listen, these are the same expectations we have for men. You see the way you're explaining to me that, you know what, you don't just jump on someone when they do something wrong. You have to do something tactfully. I understand that. But this is also the same expectation. When I'm with a man, I expect for him not to treat me like a child or speak to me like a child. When he sees me going the wrong way, because remember, you're together because you trust each other. You trust each other, you each other. So if you see me going astray, then let me know. But how do you let me know that I'm going astray? But yeah, thank you so much, Romaida, so much. Now we go to you're answering the same question: leadership, equality, and submission. What do these things mean to you? And can you have two leaders in the same relationship?
Okay, so I will start with submission. Submission is not entitled to just one person. When you are submitting, you are understanding who the person is, trying to figure out who that person is so you can cohabitate with the person peacefully. So submission is for both parties, because they say two of them will join together and become one. So if we are to become one, if we do not submit, if you do not submit to me, if I don't submit to you on equal terms, we won't become one, we'll be apart. So with submission, now let's go into the Bible. The Bible says that a man should love his wife. And the concept love is a whole big thing, but they don't know. If you are to love something, even if that thing is looking nasty, it's giving you problems, it's giving you issues, love that thing. One thing I've noticed about women, when we are going through our menstrual cycle, you can actually, I don't even want you to come close to me. I don't want to become clingy. I don't want you to come close. Just go away. You know, that kind of behaviors women portray. So as at that point, if you are not submissive, Because the very moment you're submissive, you understand what she's going through. So you know that she's in a state, this is the state that she's going through. What can I do to ease that thing up? What can I do to make her, release her tension and all that kind of pain and all that? But if you are not submitted, you can't do that. So with love comes with a lot of things. You have to be compassionate, you have to be understanding, you have to be caring, you have to be everything. You have to be caring, you have to everything. Now that also boils down to the woman. A woman has to submit. That means we women already have the love. We know love. We know love. We have everything embedded in us. So now we have to exhibit submission. But with them, they don't know submission, but they don't know submission. So they have to show the love. It's something that you need to bring in. So that's why I also put the yin yang. Your side, my side, together become one. Now, a woman submitting to a man, you need to also understand that man. If you wake up from bed and you feel your husband is off, you don't have to go, why are you doing this? Why? You don't have to shout, just relax. Probably at that time, there's something on his mind. There's something going through his mind. He doesn't have the right things to apply to that situation for him to calm down. But you already know that part. So you just relax, submit, understand him from his perspective. With then, whatever you say, you speak in a calm tone, you speak in a cool tone, you still his mind. So whatever you say, he listens. So we complement each other. Submission is for both parties. It is not accustomed to just one person. Now, coming to the leadership role, yes, we can have two leaders in a home. If both of them balance each side, he's a man, so he's in tune into the masculine energy, always doing, but the very moment he balances with the feminine energy, he tends to understand the woman. Oh, okay. So she's a woman, so she's going through this, she's going through that. Okay, then I need to understand her from this side. If this is coming, I'll understand her. When it comes to the woman, you are in your feminine energy. So you also need to balance your masculine energy. Then you understand him from his perspective. Okay, he's acting like this because he's a man and his masculinity is higher than his femininity. Then you understand him. So with that, both of you can complement each other because both of you are a reflection of each other. If you do not have that perspective in your mind, you can't have leadership at home. But if that is inculcated in the home, you can have two leaders. Yeah.
Thank you. That is amazing. Balance. You can have two leaders, but you need to balance. And thank you so much. Now I'm thinking, now we're going to turn this around a bit. And I want us to know, I want to know from you, what do you think is misunderstood about, it could be women, or it could be about you. It could just be about being a woman, being a single woman, being a single mother, being a woman who is in a career, being a woman who's searching for this. What do you think is mostly understood about you and women who fall into your category, or women who share your experiences? What do you think is most understood, especially coming into relationships? And you could also touch on things like the kind of support you think you need, or even what you think you need to change. So I want to know what do people misunderstand about that?
All right. What people misunderstand, I'm a single mom. And a lot of people, there's different, as soon as you say you're a single mom, it's like you're painted red. There has to be something wrong with you. This is this is that, this is that. People don't understand that, some people, like I told you, I'm in a group full of single moms. Some are single moms because they are their spouses passed away. Some are single moms because they were engaged and they broke off the engagement. Others were married, and it's not all that became single moms through married men but you see, in our African culture, there must be something wrong with her. In Kikuyu culture, you are a goat with a broken leg, so you're considered useless in Kikuyu culture. And this is something that I don't fight because it's a mindset you cannot change. So what I usually tell other single moms is, it's like someone living with HIV. It's something you cannot change. And for us, it's other people's opinions. You're only in control of your reaction. You cannot control other people's opinion, no matter how holy you are, no matter how whatever you are. People have already made up their minds. And especially men, men don't want, oh, you're a single mom. They must be, so that is something you cannot change. So what you can work on is your reaction. This is something you're going to expect. So, and it's not all men. There are men who are not afraid of single moms. They take the time just to understand. So what I would tell other women that are single moms, are speaking as one, that is a mindset you cannot change. You cannot change. So you have to now work on yourself and work on your reaction to that. You have to focus on yourself. You have to focus on your child. You have other more important things to think about than what people are thinking about. You have a child to raise. And as I began this journey, I used to be so concerned about that. And let me tell you, it used to subconsciously build resentment towards my child. I don't hate my child, but there were these subconscious thoughts, and you're just like, because as human beings, we all preserve ourselves. We love to self-preserve. Every person, whether your mother, your father, your daughter, your uncle, brother, your husband, will always choose themselves first. So there's that self-preservation. And it got to a point and I was like, wait a minute, everyone is rejecting me as a single mom. Then if I start rejecting my child, who's going to take care of her? Who's going to show her? So there's going to be a continual, we have to break that. I didn't come from a single parent home, but things happened. I became a single mom. So it's something that I don't want to show my daughter that first, okay, it's normal. And I also want to show her that this is something that society looks down upon, always will. It's not something that I'll say I'm going to start, single mom rights. Like even in my church, there are some people who don't think that we should have a group. And the good thing about it is that when we meet, there were some mothers who are mothers to teenage sons. They completely refused their fathers to be involved because maybe they had a relationship, they got hurt. And because we even have therapists there, we talked to them, we spoke to them, and some of them now have even given access to their fathers. So the problems they've been having with their teenage children, because you have a teenage boy, a teenage man, you are not a man. There are some things you cannot handle. So if he's able to have access to the father, we were able to let them have access to the father. And that access brought in finances for the mother so that she didn't carry everything for herself. So it's, there's people in our church who look down on it and they're like, oh, our pastor is promoting in what do you call it? Promiscuity, a lot of nonsense. But that's just my advice. Control your reaction. Don't control, because you cannot stop opinions. You cannot stop what people think. Yeah. What was the other question about being a woman?
Actually, I want to ask a question about something you said before I forget. Because you talked about, how fathers have now been given access to their children and all that. And now, because remember, we're having people from different parts of the world. Now we just have someone from Nigeria who came in. I want you to speak a bit more about fathers being a single mother and how it is. What is the experience for you, and also from what you see around you? Because there are places where when you hear the word single mother, it's immediately associated with suffering, with struggle, because, you know, an absent father and all this. So could you just share what you're comfortable with in that regard for your own
Yeah.
experience? Because the thing is, we are here also to educate. We have different cultures.
Yeah.
We don't want people to always generalize, and we want to know what kind of men do we have in this different kinds of societies. So just try to mention something about that.
The first thing I tell the women in our single group is the man did not leave your child, he left you. So, yeah. So, like for me, I remember my relationship broke when I was still pregnant, and it was a serious relationship. And we both made peace with it from the beginning. And everyone had access to the child because he loves his child and everything. So a lot of women, there's a lot of bitterness. You know, he left me, he did this, he did that, he did that. So, and okay, I'm not defending men because there are men who have completely absconded. You know, they don't want the responsibility. I'm talking about the men who do want to be involved in their children's lives. So I tell women, you know, he did not leave your child, he left you. So make peace with that. And again, as I said in the beginning, you have to work on, you have to be healed enough and grown enough, single mother or not, to identify your faults. You know, look in the mirror and say that, okay, you know what, maybe, you know, like the ones who are with married men, I'm not going to get into that because there are very many variations. But, you know, there are some things you need to sit down and go like, okay, maybe it was not the best situation. And what you're doing is you're costing this child. You're costing this child. They are not going to have a nuclear family, but at least, and especially if you're a single mother with a son and the father wants access to the child, give the father access to the child. That is just my take. And remove your feelings from your child because you're killing your child. You're killing your child mentally. And you see, you're carrying everything. You're bitter. You are carrying financial, but it's hard. You're carrying the financial burden. So you don't, so he's going to be like, oh, if I can't see my child, why am I paying for fees? If I can't see my child, who am I buying food for? You are in court. You're carrying so much. It's heavy. Let him carry some of the burden because you didn't make that child by yourself and you didn't drag him. You know, so that is just my take. Like you have to be real about these things, and it's not about you anymore. It's not about you, it's about your child as well. Put your child first because you brought this person, they just found themselves. So why are they suffering? Because you're angry. You have to put your feelings aside and just be grown about it. That's my take.
I love this, Omaida. Let me tell you, when I was coming into this, I didn't even think that, because I was mostly thinking, because, you know, I'm single, you're single, Priscilla hasn't shared, so I'm not going to say her status, but I really, I really mostly thought about this as just being single women. Of course, there was a single mother aspect because you have a child, and then I have a nephew as well that I take care of part of the time. So, but I never really thought we were even going to discuss the relationship between parents who are not together. I didn't even think about that. And you brought in that aspect, and you've also brought it from different angles. And this is why I wanted people to know your story, because I immediately realized, oh my God, if anyone will speak about a single mother, the automatic thing will be something totally bad. And I've been with you from the beginning, and I know that your child's father has been there since day one. So I know that you don't have the kind of problems that other people have. Like your daughter has a very good life, you know, both parents taking care of. So I wanted for people to
And
know.
don't get me wrong, it's not that I was not bitter about the fallout. I was, but
Yeah.
you choose your battles.
Exactly, for the child. Yeah, and thank you also for bringing in the aspect of where there are people who are having to manage to have a relationship with a parent, and the parent is married. I didn't even think about that. I never even thought that there are people, not that I don't know, I know there's that, but it just didn't cross my mind that, you know what, there's someone who's raising a child, and their child cannot be with the father because the father has another family. And I think that is a deep topic, and I understand why you don't want to go deeper into it. And I also don't want to go deeper into it because I'm not in that situation. So, and I do not have experience in that. But yeah, it's good to know that we also remember the women who are in such situations. So thank you so much for Maida. And now we go to Priscilla. So the same question. What do people not understand about you? I don't know your status, whether you're single or dating, or women who belong to a certain category. Just tell us what you think is misunderstood and what you think we need to get right.
Okay, so my status, I'm single. Single. Okay, so I'm using myself as an example. Because of the way I think, my perspective and my understanding, some men that come close to me feel I'm too difficult to handle. Yeah, some of them feel I'm too difficult to handle because, they've been programmed to think that the woman has to be softer. The woman has to be, mediocre. Just need to just limit yourself for them. But I don't see that because you have a purpose to fulfill. I also have a purpose to fulfill. You get it? And if we are to come together, we are to complement each other. You help me do mine, I help you do yours, we move on. But if you want me to demean myself because you feel that a woman has to always be down there for a man, no, I can't do that. I can't do that because I have a purpose to fulfill. And if immediately I do that, I've lost my self-worth. I've lost my divinity. Now I don't even know who I am anymore. So it's like I'm living in your shadow. I don't want to live in someone else's shadow. I want to live in my life that is going to complement you and complement others. And also with the aspect of single mothers, I just want to share something about a friend of mine that she had a child with this man, and the man wasn't around. He didn't take care of her. After they named the baby, had the naming ceremony, he was gone, nowhere to be found. So she found someone else to marry her. And this is the problem. Where I'm coming from, we have the notion that the very moment you have a child, you lose some sort of prize on you, some sort of worth. Yeah. It's like you because you have a child, you are not like the person that doesn't have a child. So you've lost some sort of prize, some sort of worth. So with this kind of understanding, she had the child. She didn't let the man know she had a child. And they got married. So the mother-in-law found out and told the son, do you know your wife has a child? He said, no, she doesn't. Ask her. He asked her and she told him that, yes, she has. But she was scared she was going to lose it because of, the understanding that we have and all those kind of things. And the man said, no, bring her. I want to take care of her. I want to take her as my child. So this is a problem where I'm coming from. And I've been in the religious sector. I've been with other sectors. And the very moment you have a child, you lose your worth. People don't respect you. They literally don't respect you. They feel like you are promiscuous, you are this. They have this tag that they label you with. And it has actually made lots of women go into depression. So they lose themselves. So it's like, okay, fine. If I have a child, when someone comes in, I'll just go in. Or I can literally just hide my child and not let you know that I have a child. Because I don't want that braid to be broken. Because the very moment it happens, I can't find someone else. So they just lose themselves, give themselves out. Marry me. And little did you know that if you do that and he finds out, he's going to lose respect for you. If he trusted you, he won't trust you anymore. Because how can you hide a whole human being away from him? So he can also have the notion that if anything happens, you can leave me and go. You can just leave me and go. If I'm going through pain, if I'm dying, you can literally just abandon me and go. So with every situation, there are pros and cons to it. But one thing I also want to tell other women is, no matter if you have a child, you are still complete. You having a child, for me, is a plus, because you know exactly how to take care of another human being by yourself. You understand that child. You can care for that child. So the very moment that man comes in, you know exactly what to do to take care of him. You have the understanding of all those kind of things. So for me, I see it to be a plus. I see it to be a plus. When you have a child, I respect you so much. I respect you a lot. I give you so much respect, because the things you've been through, I haven't been there. You've gone through a lot of hardships. You have to think about, okay, what is my child going to eat? What is my child going to do? Like, my child has to go to school. If the father is not bringing money, what am I going to do to sustain my child? So you already have all these cognitive functions. You can multitask, you can do this, you can do that. So I see it to be like a great plus. So this is dedication that we need to give to people. The fact that you have a child doesn't mean you're useless. It doesn't mean you are not worthy. You are more than worthy. More than worthy. The only thing you need to do is focus on yourself. Find yourself. The very moment you have a child, you should know that there's something inside of you. If the man is not around, you were able to take care of the child. You provided for the child. We have women that have taken care of 5 kids, and their kids are all over the world, earning big sums of money. How did she do it? What did she do? She went through pain. She went to struggle to take care of that children. So that woman has a very broad mindset. She can think, she can analyze, she can know that if I do this, this is going to work for me. So that kind of woman, we should give those women big respect. And honestly, I love women like that. I always want to get close to them because I can learn a lot from them. Yeah.
So much. Everyone
Thank
is
you.
here.
Thank you.
1 minute I feel like I'm in a session, getting therapy, amazing therapy for free. Then I feel again like I'm in church. Then I feel like I'm in a conference. Then I feel like I'm in a career seminar. I'm getting a lot. I'm getting a lot from this. So thank you so much. And now we have 15 more minutes, and I want everyone to give a closing statement. And it doesn't necessarily have to be to any group of people, but you can choose. It can be to men, it can be to women a certain age set. It doesn't have to be younger women, because usually we have this notion that when you're older, the only people you can speak to are people who are younger. But I feel like, you, Wam, and I, we speak like when I was going through one of the hardest times in January because of someone I thought I was gonna, someone I thought was really serious, and it didn't work. It's you, my friend of many years, my sister I was speaking to. So I think sometimes we also need to speak to people who are in our age set. We don't have to say our ages, but what are your closing statements, and to whom do you share this advice with? What would you tell them going forward in dating and finances for Maida?
All right, just my takeaway to men, to women, to everyone, just do the work. Face those fears, face those demons. Speak to yourself. Tell yourself those hard things that you don't want to admit. There are things that you've been told, and your mind has really blocked them. Self-healing will put you in a place of peace, so that if you're the kind of individual that feels that you will feel whole once you're in a relationship, once you're able to heal yourself, once you're able to love yourself. In fact, Whitney Houston said, learning to love yourself is the greatest love of all. Whatever relationship you're looking for, it's also looking for you, but it cannot find you as you are. You have to do the work. You have to do the work. That's the reason it hasn't come yet. You have to do the work. And if you're already in a relationship and it's falling apart, before you take out the speck in your partner's eye, do the work. Remove the thing in your eye as well, because none of us are perfect. Even you, you're not perfect. That's my takeaway.
Thank you, Maida. I will remember that. I felt like you were speaking to me directly, and I was like already doing the math. I need to do this. I need to take this seriously. So thank you so much. Self-work, and this is something that is, we forget that when we don't do the work, the internal work, it's going to affect everyone around us. And if it's a relationship or whomever you're attracting, it's going to affect them. And I think we can all look back. I can look back from January, and I can look at things and what.
Leave January even before, for you both
Yeah.
and I, we know ourselves so well. But even for you, Priscilla, all the relationships that haven't worked, whatever you are looking for in that person, he could not give it to you. He could not. That thing you're looking for, only you can give it to yourself.
Yeah. True.
The other person adds on. Only you can give it to yourself. You have to be okay with who you are. You have to be okay with what you've been through. You have to be okay. And you have to admit, I messed up at this point. It was unfair at this point. Yes, it was my fault at this point. Take the L. Take the L. You will break so many bondages in your mind. Take the L. Don't kill you. And you'll find
my
peace.
God. I think I need that. Everyone needs like a small list where you go, okay, these are the red flags I missed. This is what I did that was wrong. And maybe if I go back in time, I should not have done this. And you know what? And this is why we get so broken when a relationship is over and you're going through all this and everything is happening at the same. But once you are settled down, you need to go back and see, what did I miss? What did I allow? And I totally agree with that. And now, Priscilla, what do you close with?
Okay, so in my closing remarks, what I will say is find yourself. Whether you're a man, whether you're a woman, just find yourself. Because the very moment you find yourself, you claim your identity and you build your personality. Listen, you attract what you want. When you place value on yourself, the person coming will notice that about you and value you. If you devalue yourself, the person coming will devalue you. So accept yourself. Work upon yourself. As my sister said earlier, work upon yourself. Find yourself before someone else finds you. Because the very moment you find yourself, you claim your identity and you work in that. So whatever you are attracting for, it manifests and it comes to you. If this is what you want, if let's say I don't want a man who would come in to treat me anyhow, talk to me anyhow. Yes, so you don't respect your own self. You don't place value on your own self. You are waiting for someone to come in to do things for you. Trust me, that's what you're going to attract. So find yourself, work upon yourself, set your targets to yourself, have your manifestations to yourself, and then live in that line of what you have set for yourself. And trust me, you're going to be aligned with whatever is going to come. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We need to find ourselves. That again, I feel like you're speaking to me. And yeah, and it's amazing that even after you go through 1, 2, or 3 relationships, whatever number, you still think, okay, do I really know myself? Am I doing what is right for me? Am I always prioritizing myself? And when I don't prioritize myself, am I prioritizing someone else to my detriment? And am I going to be the one who's going to be left paying for it even longer after they are gone, if they leave? So these are questions we need to ask ourselves. And so thank you so much, Maida. Thank you so much, Priscilla. And I will also give my own closing statement. I am no coach or relationship expert, but I just remembered something, and I need to stop always quoting Kingsley. Kingsley is He's a content creator on TikTok, and I keep talking about Kingsley, but I think it's because I once went to his TikTok live and we talked about relationships. So I remember seeing something he did a short while back where he said that one thing that men get wrong is that they put women on a pedestal in a way that they are no longer human. Because once you remove the human aspect from the woman and they're just there like an idol, it's gonna create problems. And I agree with that, because I do feel like I've been treated or placed on a pedestal in a way that was a bit too, like, okay, that's a lot. Like, okay, you're doing this, you're doing this, you're doing this. And then you realize, oh my God, you're not even doing the basic things. Like I mentioned before, the communication at the right time. You're planning things together. But then when you realize that, you know what, you can't go ahead with the plan, you don't even respect me enough to tell me. But that's because you've already placed me in this level where you're just gifting me or doing such things. And my advice to men, like Kingsley has said, women, we are human beings. I am a human being. I'm not an idol. I don't need for a man to do things, overboard and impress me. Because if you're doing all that, but you're not there to have the conversations with me, you're not there to pick up my call, or you're not even there, I can understand you don't need to pick up my calls. You're busy. But when it goes 1 day, 2 days, and you don't even have the respect to message me, I'm not gonna say call back, which is what I expect, but you can't even message me. And when we talk, or you're there with the gifts and everything, that shows me you don't see me as a human being. I am not a god. I am not a thing. I am a human being. And I hope that men can start treating women as human beings in that sense. Stop overdoing things you don't need to do and work on the things that really matter. The things that are going to matter when you're 60, 70, 80, and you're sitting in a home together. Communication is what's going to be important. Me holding your hand when you're going through difficulties at work, that's what's going to matter. You holding my hand when the children are going through difficulties and then they're not listening to me and have to call you in to help. Those are the things that are going to matter. It's not the gifts. Those things they give you momentary pleasure, and that's it. Just be present. If you want to be in a woman's life, be present. And that's all I'm going to tell the men. So thank you so much, everyone. This is one of the most fun events I've had, because it's relationships and it wasn't politics. So thank you so much for christening my event series with this. And I hope I'm going to have you back because we have a lot to talk about different topics. Maida, I love what you're doing with your new organization. And I hope everyone is going to go to your YouTube. When you go to her YouTube, you'll see interviews from, very many interviews. She's done many of them, because it's important to know the foundation of a person. Even though you're doing something now, you're starting something new. You're training to be a coach. It's important for people to know your journey, where you came from. What did you do? What were your challenges? So I hope people can come to your YouTube account and just follow you and see your journey. You're on a faith-based journey as well. People know I'm on the other side of decolonizing, but you and I are still sisters. Like my family, they're Catholic. They do all these things, but we're still family. So I want people to learn who you are. And as well, Priscilla, I met you once. I'm telling you, this has never happened. Usually when people come to my events, these are people who have applied. Many times I kind of know them. I know them, but with Priscilla, we met the second time. And in the second meeting, I was like, oh my God, you have so many stories to tell. You have so much to tell people. And I need you to actually be there on camera and tell people all these stories. So you're so inspiring to me, Priscilla. And all the good, amazing things I already thought and knew about Ghana, you exemplify them and you make Ghana greater to me because of what you embody. And like what my best friend just told you, we were planning to visit.
I know.
Plans canceled, but we will come. Yes,
there's something about Ghana.
When the time is right, you're going to come.
We will come.
Yes,
we will
shall.
come.
Yes, we shall.
So it's been such an honor, and
you're welcome to come.
Yes, and you are welcome.
I'm definitely going to come there. Definitely going to come there.
Karibu sana, karibu.
So thank you so much, and I hope you all take care of yourselves, and everyone also make sure that You're not just checking Mom's YouTube, you're also going to Priscilla. Priscilla doesn't have a YouTube, but she has a LinkedIn page, and she's a writer. She is a motivator. She's amazing things. And I'm pushing her on the side. I'm like, you need to talk more. You need to write more. So I hope we're going to see you, Priscilla, writing more and more so we can learn from you. Yeah. So yeah, follow both these lovely ladies on LinkedIn and let's continue to work on ourselves.
Thank you for having us, Mary. Bless you.
One more question. The Maasai is from Kenya, right? The Maasai people.
And Tanzania.
Both Kenya and Tanzania. Both Kenya and Tanzania.
I have their cloth, their traditional cloth. I have 3.
Wow.
Three different colors. So I really want to come there.
Come. You're welcome. You're welcome.
We are the friendliest people and we are the nicest people. We will take you everywhere. And like you already know, Ghana is a favorite to us, so you don't even need to worry. If you are not from Ghana, maybe you worry about a bit, but but yes, I'm really happy to have hosted this. And I feel, you know what, Mom? I feel like we are in Kenya somewhere and we are hosting a guest from Ghana. I feel like I'm at home.
I know, that's what I feel. That's what I feel. Like I even forgot you're in Finland. Thank you, Mary, and all the best with your page and Crest Impact. You're doing amazing things. And you know, as I told you, haba na haba hujaza kibaba. Every drop fills a bucket. Yeah. So don't worry. It might look like you're not making an impact, but you will see the impact one day.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you for being there for me when I'm crying, holding my secrets and all these amazing things. So thank you for
I got you.
All right. So
thank you so much. Thank you so much. I really did have fun. Okay, bye.
Same here. Bye.